A very good evening. You're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Akanksha Swaroop. As Christians across the globe celebrate Christmas, the birth of Christ the Savior, the message of peace, humanity and compassion couldn't be more relevant to Bangladesh today, because on Christmas Eve, a cocktail explosion killed one. That too in front of a Dhaka church. And that's not all. Following the barbaric killing of Dipu Chandra Das, yet another Hindu has been murdered. According to Bangladeshi media, 29-year-old Amrit Mandal, alias Samrat, was beaten to death by a violent mob late on Wednesday. Somehow, the shock and horror of it all is drowning, because Bangladesh continues to sink into the abyss of hatred and jihadist violence. Given that a church was the target on Christmas Eve, let's remind you of the violence perpetrated against the Christians in Bangladesh. One that's not new. In fact, it is cyclical in nature. Christians, though less than 1% of the population, have long faced hostility from militant Islamist groups. Sample this. Over 36 attacks have been reported on Christian properties since the ouster of Sheikh Hasina in August last year. More than 100 families have either fled or renounced faith under duress. Churches have been vandalized, priests threatened, and Christian schools torched by mobs chanting Islamist slogans. In fact, just last month, on 7th November, the historic St. Mary's Cathedral Church in Dhaka was attacked with crude bombs. Keep in mind that it's one of Bangladesh's oldest Christian landmarks. Rewind to 2014 and the home of Soren Kubi, a relative of the Bishop of Mymensingh, was attacked and looted by extremists. But the attackers walked free. And in 2001, a devastating bombing in a Roman Catholic church in Gopalganj killed 10 people. A crime never properly prosecuted till date. Wonder why the US president is still silent? Ironically, it was Donald Trump who actively mobilized the Christian vote during his election campaign, projecting himself as God's chosen one. Let me remind you that the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights has already documented this violence. Their report states that Jamaat-linked mobs have been involved in revenge attacks since last year's July uprising. Their targets? Predictably enough, the minorities, Hindus, Christians, Buddhists and Ahmadiyas. But this is no revelation. What's more alarming than the attacks themselves is the state's silence, the failure to condemn, prevent or punish these atrocities. It's not just incompetence, but complicity to surrender Bangladesh to the terror-linked jihadists. Is this the Naya Bangladesh, the persecutor's paradise? That's a question we'll be posing to our guests today. I'm joined in by Veena Sikri, who's a former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhry, who's a Bangladesh journalist, also joined in by Nirmal Rosario, who's the president of Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council. Thank you, Ambassador and the gentlemen, for joining in. Nirmal, I want to begin by wishing you a Merry Christmas, but I don't want to, in fact, add insult to injury today. The figures shared by your council were over 2,400 as far as the minority killings in Bangladesh is concerned. But given the recent bout of violence, could you enlighten our viewers, and do you have any estimate of the new current figures? Where do they stand?
Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to you all. And there's things you have mentioned, almost is correct. And the things, the position of the Christians in Bangladesh and the minority community as a whole, we are facing challenges. You know, in 2001, the Gopalganj killing was held, and afterward, during 2012, there was a killing at Banpara, that is Sunil Gomez, and our one pastor was been Parlerius, a Italian priest who had been shot down. So that was the situation, and now the situation has become more difficult for the Christians and as well as the minority community in Bangladesh.
Do you have any idea of the figures? Because your council has been actively sharing figures, one that was also endorsed by India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar. So can you give us any idea in terms of how many Hindus, Christians, Buddhists are being targeted? There's a lot going on social media. Unfortunately, because of the dissent on Bangladeshi media, none of that is filtering through any verified sources. So I just want you to give us an estimate.
No, sir. Estimations are what we have given on behalf of Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council. It was 2010, and first up to October last year. Then later on, there was an incident that is around 70 or like, and almost more than 2,300 incident has been occurred here in after the fall of the government, Awami League government. So it is very tensionious for us and very sad for us that such a big number of incidents happened, and there was killing or raping and other attacks
So
on
you're
the
saying in
houses of
this recent
minorities.
bout of violence also rapes are happening? Are Hindu villages again being targeted?
Yeah. So it is happening, and it is also happening to the hill area, that is CST area and other area, and the minority peoples. We are feeling some sort of insecurity, and before few days, now several churches were being targeted, and the Tesgam Church and the Cathedral Church at Kakrail, and some
Okay.
one church, one church is at Asad Gate, and different churches were being targeted, bomb thrown and blasted there. And finally, the day before yesterday, you heard, and I visited the place yesterday. It is at Romna, in front of our national NCCB, National Church, Churches
Okay.
Committee.
So thank you for
Yeah.
putting those facts out there for all our viewers here. We
Yeah.
are a globally watched channel. Your information will, in fact, be disseminated all across the globe. I quickly want to bring in Shoaib on that note. Shoaib, 2 letters were written to local churches on 2nd of December, warning them of a possible terror attack. Yet this explosion takes place in Dhaka near a church. What explains
Yeah.
this complete failure? Are the jihadist radicals outnumbering the forces on the ground? What is Mohammed Yunus doing?
Pardon? So what?
That question's for
Actually,
Shoaib. Shoaib.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Akanksha. As you know that it's not only as just we heard what is happening with the Christians in Bangladesh. I mean, Hindus are the worst victims of these Islamists and jihadist Christians as well.
In fact,
And-
we've just now broken the news of another Hindu being beaten to death.
Exactly,
Yes.
not only the Christians and the Hindus and
Right.
Buddhists and the indigenous people. They are suffered, and you have seen the one Hadi was been killed, and our Liton Dipudash well been beaten, killed, and hanged and burned. It is it is so pathetic. When I have seen this picture, and I cried myself. So how people can do that? The people beaten, then died, and hang and fire, and
No,
that is
absolutely not. In
we
fact, just
have
hours
never experienced
ago,
such.
you have another Hindu youth being
Yeah.
beaten to
Yeah.
death. Amrit Mandal, we
Yeah.
are flashing his
So-
picture on screen
Yeah.
as we speak. Shoaib, if I could bring you in on this complete lawlessness, but as I said, on 2nd of December, 2 letters were written, and yet no protection provided to churches and their adjacent areas. Shoaib.
So the
Let
protection.
Shoaib
You
speak.
see-
Mr. Rosario, that's questions for Shoaib.
Akanksha, thank you. You see, we are very much worried about what has happened to Dipu Chandra Das just a few days ago. And now the latest victim is Amrit Mandal in Rajbari. And unfortunately, the state missionary or the so-called members of the regime, no one visited the house of the Dipu Chandra Das. And now Amrit Mandal, they are giving him an allegation. They gave false allegation on Dipu Chandra of blasphemy, and they are putting
And now he's being labeled as
false allegations against Amrit Mandal, saying he's an extortionist. So as if every Hindu, they will bring a bad allegation, and then they give the right to the mobs to kill lynch the Hindu. This is, with my due apology to Her Excellency Ambassador Sikh, I would like to say, the Bangladesh that she has seen when she was High Commissioner here, and now this is a completely different Bangladesh, as if Bangladesh has become a hellish inferno for, especially for the Hindus. Christians, yes, but Hindus, I mean, I am seeing everywhere, all around. Hindus are, I'd like to also, with your very kind permission, Akanksha, I would like to bring another very serious issue, that since the last year's jihadist coup, no Hindu family can arrange marriage for their daughter. If
Why?
and when there, yes, if and when the family wants to arrange a marriage, the hooligans, the mobsters, they arrive, demand a particular amount of money, and then what they say is very, even I am ashamed of saying this thing, they say, you give this money or give your daughter to us for one night.
Wow.
This is happening in Bangladesh.
I'm
saying on
appalled.
record.
I'm shocked, to say the least. Since when has this been happening? No guesses.
Ashamed, I mean, they don't want to say, but it is a crime for being a journalist that.
Who's an extortionist out here? I want to quickly bring in Ambassador Sikri.
Yes.
Ambassador, thank you so much for so patiently awaiting your turn. Is this the Bangladesh you had ever imagined? Isn't this disrespecting the Bengali soul?
Absolutely. I mean, this is absolutely going back to the pre-1971 situation. And actually, in 71, the people of Bangladesh fought to overcome the Pakistani, focus on just religion at the expense of culture. And the dream of 1971, the liberation war of 1971, the dream embodied in the constitution of Bangladesh was to have a Bangladesh which will have democracy and secularism and nationalism and social justice. Culture and religion are two sides of the same coin. Both are very, very important. But you cannot do one without the other. And if you do, then the Bengaliness is gone. And in fact, what the Jamaat-e-Islami controlled regime of Muhammad Yunus, they are actually going back to bringing Pakistan in to the pre-1971 command and control structure. It is shocking, absolutely shocking to hear that after the terrible lynching, barbaric lynching of Dipu Chandra Das, now another person, Amrit Mandal, has been beaten to death. It is shocking to hear from Nirmal Rosario about the churches, how they
weigh in on Shoaib's point. It's shocking to hear that if you want to marry off your Hindu daughter, you have to pay these Jamaatis an amount of money to get your daughter married within your community. Otherwise, hand over your daughters to the jihadists.
May I tell you something? That this is exactly what the terrorists from Pakistan were doing in Jammu and Kashmir, telling the Kashmiri Pandits that you give us money or give us your daughter. And this is exactly why that exodus took place and it was allowed to take place. So this is the Pakistani tactics that are being brought entirely, the Pakistani terrorist tactics that are being brought entirely into Bangladesh, and they're trying to convert it into what many call a Bengali Pakistan. And this is absolutely shocking. They're embedding themselves with the Bangladesh army. And can you imagine on this holy occasion of Christmas today, and we want to wish Merry Christmas to all our participants.
That's why I want to bring in Nirmal. How was
destroyed.
Christmas in Bangladesh? Were you able to attend the morning, were you able to go to church? Were you able to attend the press service in the church? Nirmal Rosario?
Yes, today on the Christmas occasion, or so usually our people go to the church on Sunday, and sometimes on the other day also they go to the church, and Sunday is the main. And yet we do not have any sort of hinders, but hinders we have not seen. But still, this sort of things, attacking attitude. And
but how was Christmas today, Nirmal? If I may ask you, for your loved ones, your family members, how did it go?
So then people go. Then sometimes they are afraid of, and they sometimes they do not go. And if they see they go when the situation is good, they go, and when the situation is not good, then they abstain from attending the church. These sort of things happening sometimes. But this was not earlier, but this is the new phenomenon we have seeing this time. So I think it is a challenge, and interim government we asked for security, and we sat with the home advisor for home ministry, and we have sat with the police IGP, Inspector General of Police, and then for Dhaka DMP Commissioner, and all the yes, superintendent of police SP
Okay.
in the district level.
Okay.
They took part over actually virtually, and instruction had been given, but still that
It's just
there
been
was a
reduced to
little
mere lip
problem,
service.
and we have
Shoaib,
seen
I
that
want to
this
bring you in
thing has been
on
done.
how
Okay.
priests are being attacked, on equally importantly, schools are being attacked. Remember, many of these Christian schools cater to a majority of children. What will this mean for education in Bangladesh today?
Yeah, to me, question to me?
Yes, Shoaib.
Okay. You see, I mean, what can I say? Because Bangladesh this is a unique society, I should say now, not now, for decades.
Right, because correct me if I'm wrong, there was a school also targeted just days ago, St. Joseph, right?
Yes, St. Joseph School. So what I want to say, that this is actually the fault of our leaders, who have been practicing political Islam, and which teaches everyone to hate who is not a Muslim. And I would like to again beg your apology, Akanksha, and say that in the eyes of a Muslim who follows political Islam, everyone else who is not a Muslim is infidel, and they are destined to hell. So this is the perception, brain, mindset. Everyone is growing. Thanks God that I was not within that group, but very, very dangerous. If you go to journalists,
you're the ray of hope. You're the ray of hope. We still have Muslims like you
go
who are
to
secular,
any journalist,
who are Sufi, who believe in the secular fabric of this world, not just in Bangladesh. And I want to quickly...
any journalist, Akansha, 1 second. You go to any journalist, any newspaper, any media, they are also following the political Islam. Very, very vicious and poisonous atmosphere. And actually, I cannot even explain to you what is the situation. Hopefully you understand. And Her Excellency can actually explain it far more in detail.
I want to bring in Ambassador on that note. Ambassador, a nation which is gripped by fear, by atrocities against the minorities, which has seen a complete breakdown of its cultural identity, where these jihadist flags are flying high unchallenged. Do you think such a country has the right to send UN peacekeeping troops to conflict-prone zone?
You're absolutely right. I think the first restriction that should be put on Bangladesh is that troops cannot participate in UN peacekeeping operations because they have violated all the conditions. Army control, they brought in complete Jamaat-e-Islami control. They're not holding free, fair and inclusive elections. They're attacking the minorities consistently for the last 18 months, right up to the present day. Even after the lynching, when there was a world outcry, but still homes are being set on fire, churches are being attacked. Amrit Mandal has been again beaten to death, being falsely blamed. Last time it was blasphemy for Deepu Chandra, now it is extortionism for him. We know these are all fake, trumped up charges. So I think the world community, I'm glad your channel is discussing it, because this message has to reach the world community, and more opprobrium must pour onto the Yunus regime for doing this. Unless he is held responsible for this, there can be no lasting community. There's no point if you have restrictive elections so as to allow all this to continue. You are allowing restrictive elections so that the Jamaat-e-Islami can come to power, and all this will continue. So what is this that is happening? It cannot be allowed. There must be free, fair and inclusive elections where all political parties take part, and everybody who is a political party, so that the people can have a stable government and all this can end.
In fact, we speak on a day when Tariq Rahman has made that return, but many are already questioning how connected is an absentee politician or a leader, when he's been missing from the country for nearly 18 years, will he even understand the pulse of the nation? I want to give quick closing thoughts to Nirmal Rosario. Nirmal Rosario, as the head of the BHBCUC, do you have a message for Mohammed Yunus? Has your council reached out to him? Have there been any kind of outreach that's been made by the Mohammed Yunus regime so far?
So, our request is to protect our minority people. So there's a Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, and that protection should be ensured for all the citizens of the country. So it will be priority one level, and sometimes our community people, those living in the hillside, also hill tracks area, and the greater Mymensingh area. We ask to Professor Yunus so that the security measure is being taken for them, and then so that they can move freely.
Okay.
And their hesitations and what the fear they are feeling, it should be removed from.
So let this Christmas be a call for peace, unity and tolerance in Bangladesh. No country is safe where the vulnerable groups, especially the minorities, feel safe. And in fact, leave this discussion.